of the future. And we the name of the future. We the name of the future. And we the name of the future. Hey. Yeah. Shout out to Big Tez, man. And Big O. It's still a nation, man. Yeah. Big Tez. Big O. You know what it is, man. It's still a nation, man. Big O. Yeah. Big O. Every night on Monday night, man. 7 to 8 on Monday night. Big O. Big Tez. And it's a stump. And this is still a nation. Big Tez. Big O. It's Big Tez. Big O. Still a nation. Big Tez. Big O. Big Tez. Big O. It's still a nation, man. Yeah. And it's a stump. Big O. Yeah, I had to say it was a stump, man. Because you know, it is a stump, man.
Hey, everybody out there, Steel Nation Live from Rochester, New York. Check us out on your web, www.steelnationlive.net. I'm Big O.
I'm Big Tiz. How you doing there tonight? Big O, a lot of things happening. The Steelers won against Cincinnati. Big time win, especially in their division. What are you feeling about that?
Oh, we have a lot to talk about this later. It's very nice to when your team wins, especially on the road after 3 road losses. It's time that we got our stuff together. And before we start the show, Big Tiz, we have to let our folks out there, we lost power. The things that have been going on with Steel Nation Live here, unbelievable. But you know what, folks? We are not going to stop until we get the word out to you, the information that you guys need. We're going to work hard, extra hard, so you guys get the stuff that we want to put out, and nothing is going to stop us. Nothing is going to slow us down. We're Steel Nation Live from Rochester, New York, and there will be bumps in the road, Big Tiz. It's what we do with them.
Exactly. You're right about that. And that's one thing. We're here to bring it to you guys. Let me give you guys a website, www.steelnationlive.net. And if you want to go to talkshoe.com, there you can see our audio broadcast. And if you want to go to the website, that's where you'll get our video and our audio broadcast. But also, we want to give you guys how you call in. 724-444-7444. This way, in the caller ID 115243, hit the pound key. And if you're a guest, hit 1 and pound, and you are in, and you can talk to Big Tiz and Big O.
That's right. Ask us questions. Hopefully have Johnny B's Fantasy on later on the show. But until then, we're going to give you the news around the NFL. Not too much going on. And then we're going to give you the updates of the Steelers game and preview our upcoming game against RG3 and the Redskins. So, Big Tiz, let's start off with this. We already started off on a great note. Folks, no bad note tonight, except for the power loss. We had to stop. We had to redo it, but we're doing it for you, not for us, because we love you, the Steeler fans out there. You deserve quality entertainment and information. So, if we all remember this guy right here, Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, well, he's considering dropping the Pro Bowl, Big Tiz, and folks out there. And we all know if we've been a fan of football, this is the time of the year where your team hasn't made the playoffs,
right,
or your team may not be in the Super Bowl. This is like one of your final shots where you get to see, or you're supposed to see, top quality play, because these are not rookies. These are the NFL players that did their best, picked by you, the fans, and by their NFL peers to appear in Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, Hawaii. This is not a bad gig, Tiz.
It's not.
But the fact that these guys are showing up and not playing, you know, I've had enough of it, and the commissioner's had enough of it too. If you watch the game last year, Michael Strahan was one of the hosts of the Pro Bowl, and he said it was an embarrassment to watch this game. Now we all know it was a blowout. I think it was 59-41 was the final score. AFC coming out on top. Now, we might have seen a great array of offensive players, or was it the lack of not trying on defense? In fact, on field goal attempts, they just stood there.
Right.
It was just like field goal practice or kicking practice for the kickers. Ridiculous. And we're going to talk about this. So this is Big Tiz's baby topic when we do a hot topic later on the show. Big Tiz is going to tell you all about it, his views, and I'm going to kind of chime in on there and give you my views. But we're not going to go too far into that. Also, in the news, not really NFL related, but we all know who Jalen Rose is. You know who he is, Big Tiz.
Jalen Rose, ex-NBA player.
commentator for
NBA.
right for what was it, TNT? Well, anyways, even though he was a Chicago Bull, I think he ended his career at the Pacers. But he tweeted, and I don't know why anybody would tweet this, because he's a huge Detroit Lion fan.
Right.
Big Detroit Lion. And he had it in his heart, being a fan that he is, that he felt that the Detroit Lion fans were not being good fans. So he said in a tweet, and you could all Google it, look it up, that if the Lions lost to the Bears, he was going to shave his head, his goatee, and his eyebrows.
Wow.
We can't make this stuff up, Big Tiz.
Gonna need shades for that one.
Oh, boy. And, talking about the news, there are scores out there. And what we're going to do something new this week. We're going to give you the scores, but we're going to give you this nice scenery. And we all know what this picture is. Heinz Field scoreboard. Well, we're not going to run the scores, obviously. But if you look up there on the Jumbotron, maybe you see a picture of yourself up there. Maybe you don't. So here's the scores. I'm going to run down the scores for you while you look at this beautiful. Maybe the ketchup bottles will pop up. Maybe they won't. Who knows? Well, last Thursday night, Big Tiz, 49ers in a close one against the Seahawks, 13-6. The Saints outlast the Bucs in a thriller, 35-28, as the Bucs missed a last-second touchdown. Luck continues to roll in Indy as Andrew Luck rushes for 2 TDs as the Colts edge out the Browns 17-13. The Titans win a heartbreaker in Buffalo, scoring a go-ahead touchdown with a little over a minute left to play. Chris Johnson runs for 195 yards and some chicken wings in Buffalo as the Titans win 35-34. The New York Football Giants could not beat RG1, but they handled RG3 in a 27-23 victory. Now, we all knew RG1 is. That's Rex Grossman for you keeping score at home. Cowboys victory over the Panthers, 19-14. Square dance, hoedown, Texas butt whooping, whatever you want to call it is. The Texans just rolled over the Ravens, 43-13. For you Steeler fans out there, we love it. The downfall begins. Aaron Rodgers continues to dominate as the Packers win over the Rams, 30-20. Vikings 21, Cardinals 14. The Pats outlast the Jets, winning overtime, 29-26. The Raiders outlast the Jags in OT and some free football, 26-23. And last night, Monday Night Football, Lions, Tigers, and Bears. Oh my! The Bears defeat the Lions 13-7. And this coming up Thursday night will be the Bucs at the Vikes in the Dome. Oh boy, gotta love them scores. Woo! Love it, love it, love it.
So Big O, you know what? The Steelers, they did the scoring of their own on that Thursday night game, and I was thoroughly impressed. It was a good thing, just in my heart, just to see the running game back, and the running game back looking like it's back of old.
It works. The running game works. And folks, the Bengals are no slouch. Let's give you that much. They're a great young team. They had a couple key injuries, and that seems to be the storyline for this year. Most teams, their best players are going down, and now the Ravens are eating some crow. Big Tiz. Now we'll talk about that later. But you know what? In Steeler news and updates, Big Tiz, we are now 3-3, and we're, instead of looking up, we're looking level now.
Right.
Big Tiz. And like we talked about last show, that we're the only team in our division not to play anybody from our division so far this year. So that gives us a chance to sweep the division, and I think we can do it. Now, not on top of our victory, the Ravens got destroyed, which was amazing. I loved it. NFL ticket, DirecTV, thank you. A little plug for them. Hopefully get a discount, maybe $10 off my bill. And you know what, Big Tiz? The way to beat the Ravens is you have to stop Flacco in the offense. You got to stop the running attack. You do that because the defense of the Ravens is no more. Even with Lewis in there, the previous 2 games before that, teams rushed over for 100 yards in 2 consecutive games. Now, they played like I said. And if they did that, they're going to win. It's a guarantee. They put pressure on Dalton. They found a way to stop Green. Now, if you're keeping score at home or you didn't watch the game, he had three throws at his way, caught one for 8 yards. This is A.J. Green. And you know who was covering him?
Ike Taylor.
Ike Taylor. And
With a little help, though.
a lot of help. And we'll talk about that in a second. We found a way to stop the law firm. He had 69 yards and 18 carries. But the reason why, because we talked about this earlier, that the Steelers came with the nickel defense. On top of the nickel defense, they added another defensive back. So now you have 6 defensive backs, which allowed the running game to start. But we caught on to that. And no stupid penalties, Big Tiz. No pass interference. And because of that, there were no miscues, and we had a turnover.
Right.
We had a turnover. That happens. But what could have been detrimental to the Steelers early on, a lot of drop balls by my man Wallace.
Oh yeah.
It was I was shocked that these weren't, like bad passes. These were all catchable balls.
Well, let's hope it's just a bad day that he had, because everybody goes through there where they drop wide open passes. I mean, even some of the great ones out there have dropped some pretty decent passes.
Oh, not to leave people out, but that one special play the Steelers did, was it Brown threw to Baron Batch, who dropped it?
Yeah.
Could have been a touchdown there. So we have to get these opportunities. We have to capitalize on these opportunities, and we cannot stress anymore that the red zone is touchdown. Red zone is touchdown. We see this picture, the scoreboard. We want to see these ketchup bottles up and down. If for those of you who've never been to Heinz Field, the ketchup bottles are electric. They light up. It's really cool. The ketchup's like flowing and stuff. But the big thing, Big Tiz, is that we played 60 minutes.
60 minutes of football.
60 minutes. Bengals, no points in the fourth quarter. That's pretty big. That's how you usually win games. If you have the lead, folks, and the opposing team doesn't score in the fourth quarter, pretty much guaranteed you're going to have a victory there, Big Tiz.
Exactly. Well, that's one of the things that was big what the Steelers did. I mean, finally, if you look at it, the Steelers have actually put points up in the fourth quarter, which is one big thing that they were lacking in that territory. And like I said, it was the fact of usually the Steelers will come out and they go to this sluggish style offense, especially after halftime. I don't know why, and they've been notorious for that. But this game, they actually seemed like they were poised, and they knew they could win it, and they went for it.
Yeah, and like I said earlier, Big Tiz, when you play your division, like last year when we played the Browns, you could be 0 forever. But when you play your division rivals, that's huge because you know each other inside and out. So a victory like this on the road is exactly the medicine the Steelers needed to start this ball rolling, to overtake this division. It's not over yet, and we haven't talked about it yet.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Steelers they're poised at this right now. They're in second place in their division now. So they're poised to where they can take it, but the thing is, like I said, every game right now to me is a must win, and the Steelers have to put out their best muscle to do this.
They do that, Big Tiz. So, what do you think? Pay some bills?
We'll pay some bills.
Go to some commercials.
And like I said, when we come back from the commercials, we're going to actually give you some other game stats of the game, and also we're going to step into our hot topic for the night. So once you hear that, I want your feedback on that on Steeler Nation Live.
SteelerNationLive.net. It's live. Join Big O, Big T every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. New Year's only in-depth analysis of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Black and gold. Game review. Injury report. Releases. Who got fired? Fantasy stats. Fantasy football. Rumor. Anything and everything you want to know about the black and gold. SteelerNationLive.net.
Honey, I just found a great new place to take us out to eat for breakfast. Critics Restaurant, 906 West Main Street, Rochester, New York. Critics is the ultimate in family breakfast dining. And if you're a Steeler fan, hey, you found the right place, Critics Restaurant. Critics Restaurant has been a neighborhood fixture in Rochester, New York for over 40 years. Good food, good fun. Critics Restaurant, 906 West Main Street. Come check us out.
Welcome back, everybody. Steeler Nation Live. For those of you just joining us, we're just basically going over how the Steelers won last week, and we're going to go to some game stats. But first, www.steelernationlive.net. Call us, 724-444-7444. Here in Rochester, New York, we're live. And if Sal, you're listening out there, we need some chicken wings fast. Bring it to the Tiz Mansion. You know where we are.
Yep. Hey, actually tonight, when I come at you guys with tonight's injury report, that's one thing we have to step onto, because there was a lot of injuries, here in the game, and there are a lot of guys who aren't really still practicing yet for the Steelers.
Tiz, just imagine if we had a full team. No, wait. Let's not get carried away. Half of the players who are injured. Just imagine we'd be undefeated right now. Undefeated. Let's go over the injury report. Folks, get your pencil, get your paper, write this down. It's a laundry list. It changes from week to week, depending on who the players, the position, but mainly it's all starters. And we're going to start with Chris Carter, linebacker, hamstring. He did not practice. Marcus Gilbert, guard, ankle, did not practice. Brandon Johnson, hamstring, full practice. Way to step it up there, Brandon. Richard Mendenhall did not practice.
Wow.
Now, I traded two of my best players for this guy. He gave me 6 points out of 2 games. Ridiculous. Did not practice. Troy Polamalu did not practice. We all talked about that last show, that he might be seen before Halloween. Doubt it. Maybe Thanksgiving. I don't know. It's not good. But Marquise Pouncey, light practice. He showed up. Isaac Redmond did not practice because of his ankle, and Lawrence Timmons did not practice because of his foot.
Wow. And that's the things that are causing Pittsburgh issues. There's a lot of guys out there, starters that are out. So these are the things that's causing issues with Pittsburgh right now at the moment. But Pittsburgh, like I said, no matter what, you got to push through it and you got to make it through. Because as the season goes on, you're going to have these type of injuries, and these injuries will affect not just our team, but other teams down the road.
That's right, Big Tiz. And David DeCastro, it breaks my heart that this kid, Stanford rookie, one of the best players in college football. You can't see him, but if you watch the game against the Bengals, this kid was on the sidelines going over plays, talking to players. He has been in it since he's been injured. He has been up in the booth. He hasn't been in the locker room. This kid has been on the sideline walking around with his knee injury. And if that's not an inspiration to anybody out there, this kid truly wants to play. And it's a blessing to have this guy on the team. And I'm so happy I got his jersey. But you know what? Everything's progressing way better than anybody anticipated. But we don't want to rush it. So by Christmas, hopefully by Christmas, maybe, just maybe, he'll be back in the thick of things and in helping this offense, who has now started to learn how to run the ball again.
Oh, definitely. And since you gave the injury report, actually, we do want to step back, and we did want to give you guys some game stats from that Cincinnati game. And like I said, the Steelers, the rushing was up there, which was unbelievable and a good thing to see in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you just got to do it, Tiz.
Hey, that's it.
You got to run up the middle. And what happened was we had both good efforts in the air and on the ground. Roethlisberger passing 23 for 37 for 278 yards, 1 TD. Unfortunately, he had a pick with that, but it wasn't a pick six.
Right.
Okay. On the ground, 167 yards rushing. When's the last time this season you heard that? Jonathan Dwyer. Where are you, Jonathan Dwyer? Jonathan Dwyer, there you go. Yeah, Titans. I don't like this picture. But anyways, he ran for 122 yards, Big Tiz. 122 yards, Jonathan Dwyer. What? I mean, he's like a mini bus.
Exactly. And like I said, this guy, he's young. He's got some power behind him and some weight. And, right now, we need somebody that's going to open up some holes, And like the offensive line, in that game against Cincinnati, they did look like everybody was on their block. Everybody was coming off their blocks decent. And like I said, the holes were there.
Right. We had some keys to victory were this. the law firm, 69 yards on the ground, 18 carries. We talked about that, how he got those runs early by having 6 defensive backs, and you can only have so many guys up there on the line. Great job by Harrison and Woodley. Great. Dalton, 105 yards in the air, 1 TD, 1 interception, and here's the kicker. Big Tiz, Green, 1 catch for 8 yards, which happened to be that TD. That was early in the first half. I think it was the second quarter. No, wait. Second or first quarter, he scored, and he was shut out the rest of the game.
Right.
Now, it's not like he wasn't playing. This kid, Green, was in the game the whole time. And actually, Ben, if you watched the game, which I hope you did, what do you think about that punt?
Hey, you got to give it to him. Like I said, the guy's becoming somebody who can do it all for Pittsburgh. Almost like trying to be a little slash in him. You know what I mean?
Left foot too. If you're keeping score at home, left foot. Watch the replay. And not to mention, 5 penalties for Pittsburgh for 50 yards. That's fantastic. We're starting to think now before we do things. Time of possession, almost 40 minutes.
Wow.
40 minutes. And that was another key issue that we talked about last week. We keep their offense off the field, they can't score.
Very true.
Contain Green, pressure on Dalton, stop the run, and who's Gresham, tight end. He had 3 catches for, I don't know, not a lot of yards.
Basically not a factor in this
Not
game.
a factor in this game. But now we have to go to the hot topic there, Big Tiz.
All right. And our hot topic for tonight, we want to get you guys on it. We touched base on it earlier about the Pro Bowl. A lot of sports out there, they have their big games. Their all-star games in basketball, their all-star games in hockey, their all-star games in baseball. But the thing about it is, these games aren't as physical as football. No matter which way you slice, no matter which way you put it. Don't get me wrong, a pitcher can probably blow out his arm, throwing a pitch across the field. Very possible. But in football, these hits, they're tremendous. So no matter which way you put it, you can twist your ankle doing something. You can tear out your knee doing a simple play. So like I said, and they're looking at wanting to put that to a rest, like Big O said earlier in the broadcast, the fact that a lot of guys aren't putting out the tenacity and they're not playing with the hardest that they should, as they would in a regular season game. But can we blame them?
Well, here's the big thing. Other than a paycheck and a nice vacation, what's the incentive? Now let's get back to baseball. That you brought up baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Pitcher could blow out his arm, he get beamed in the head, whatnot. But in baseball, they're playing for a purpose. The winner between the American League and the National League in baseball, they have home field advantage in the World Series.
Okay.
Same thing in hockey. When you do the All-Star game, home field advantage. Maybe there should be other incentives other than monetary for these players. Maybe, Big Tiz, they should play the Pro Bowl after the Super Bowl again, because you get the quality players that don't want to get hurt, and it's understandable. You live your life as a child to play football. That's your dream, to play football. You play football, your next dream is to win the Super Bowl. Just say you get your chance, your team's in there, but week before you're playing in the Pro Bowl, some guy rolls on your knee, takes you out. Yeah, you'll still get a ring, but you know what? You want to play in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
And you know what? I'm not buying this. It's too long of a season. It's too rough and tough. You know what? If it's too hot in the kitchen, get out. If you can't play one more game, it's not like they're playing for free. Am I right, Big Tiz?
Right. I agree with you totally.
You play the game. If you don't want to play that game, don't play anymore. Don't make us fans suffer. Sit there and what is going on here? You get there, you play your hardest, or you don't play at all.
I agree with you totally on that. And like I said, the effort, it's kind of hard for me to understand it as well. And don't get me wrong, I like to see my favorite players out there playing, and but it's hard for me to imagine that these guys would give it their all, especially because of the high risk of injury for these guys in a game where more or less really you're just getting free room and board across in Hawaii.
You bring your families, they get tickets.
Right.
A lot of people can go.
Exactly.
And it's just like, if you want to go on vacation, hey, your team didn't make it. You play one game. You go anywhere you want until next February
Exactly.
or March, whenever you start getting together and doing your pre stuff, whatever.
But guys, you know what? Also, what I want to do is, you know what? We're gonna go straight down the list, but we also want to get some game day feel on the Redskins. Now the Redskins,
Oh boy.
Pittsburgh, they look like they're kind of poised to try to take it right now. So the Redskins actually with RG3 and RG3 is leading the pack, and they're coming into Pittsburgh. And you know what's the feel, Big O? What do you think the feel is coming down in Pittsburgh, seeing RG3 coming in, a quarterback that's very very versatile, quarterback that can just pull the ball down and take off and outrun defensive backs.
It's a big concern, Big Tiss, and I'll tell you why. That the capabilities of this young quarterback is amazing. He had 2 carries last game for 89 yards. Not only do they have a rushing attack, but they have a quarterback who can run. He can run, he can throw. But you know what? He hasn't met the Steelers yet. And right now is a good time to catch these Redskins on an up note. We're finally coming together with the running game. And like I said last week, just a few things that we have to do, and we can beat these Redskins. Number one, show up. Obviously, this is going to be I think is going to be the toughest match of the year so far against Redskins. Red Wings, Redskins. Rochester Red Wings. Baseball starts next. Whatever. Anyways, that we're going to be home.
Right.
We're coming off a division win. That's great. We'll be wearing the throwback jerseys that if you're out in McGinney's, go get them. That's the one we have. People call us bumblebees, whatever you want. But 80 years ago, that was the style.
Right.
That was the style. People have to, take note of that. Here's what we got to do, and it's not very hard. We have to contain RG3. We have to mix the defenses up and confuse them. Young quarterback, rookie quarterback, never played against Dick LeBeau. He's got a lot up his sleeve. The guy's 104 years old. You think he knows football, and I'm telling you, we're going to throw everything at this kid, the kitchen sink, everything down. We have to shut down the running game. I talked about this briefly earlier, that if this kid can't throw, he's going to run the ball. And who started out doing that? Michael Vick. He was great at it. Look at him now. Defenses are finding ways to attack running quarterbacks, and we're going to find a way. We can do it. We've done it before. Even with Garcon out, the Redskins have a plethora.
That's that big word.
A plethora of wide receivers. So our defense that we employed against the Bengals might not work because we have to cover a bunch of receivers. Now, remember, the Bengals had 2 starters down, so that helped us out a lot. We have to play the full 60 minutes, and that's what I said last week, and that's what we did. We shut them out in the fourth quarter. We played 60 minutes, and what we cannot do, Big Tiz, and you can agree with me on this, we cannot play catch-up football with a team like this. Once they break away from us, it's hard to pull them back because right now we're just getting the momentum going. We're just getting our rushing attack. And also big, I forgot to mention, if we keep the offense off the field, there's no way RG3 can throw the ball. There's no way RG3 can run the ball. Just like Dalton, 105 yards. Where's he going?
Exactly.
AJ Green, where's he going? 1 catch, 8 yards. Come on, Big Tiz. I caught more than that. Not even play.
Well, one good thing, like I said, the Steelers definitely they're not gonna. I don't really think they're gonna face receivers the caliber of AJ Green in this game. But the fact is, the quarterback makes these underrated receivers deadly, especially a quarterback that's very mobile.
Yeah, and a quarterback like that, we contain him in the pocket, and maybe Brett Kiesel can do something instead of just run and push people around. Maybe he almost had a sack.
Yeah.
I think he touched a quarterback one time last game. For a guy that big, come on.
Well, the pressure was there. The pressure was there, and that's very important in this game. But you know what, guys? We're going to keep gelling along in the show, but what I want to end up doing, because we're coming down to the end of the hour, and I want to start with our final thoughts for the night on Pittsburgh and the next game that's coming up for the Steelers, Washington Redskins. So I'm going to start off with this and our final thoughts. And what I want to do is I want to tell any Steeler out there, if you're listening, if you're going to be viewing this later, you know what, guys? You got to put the pressure on. And once the pressure is applied, everyone has to stay in their lanes only because this is not a quarterback that just sits in the pocket and becomes very, very is not mobile. This guy is a mover. This guy is actually a receiver who can throw the ball. So we definitely have to keep up with that. And guys in the secondary, you must stay with your man because basically you're really playing a smaller version of Ben Roethlisberger. And you guys on a linebacker level, definitely stay in your lane. Always plug your holes because they do have a formidable runner in the backfield, and you guys have to always keep your lane. So really, that's it for me tonight with the Steelers versus the Washington Redskins. Big O, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's easier said than done. Excuse me. It's easier said than done, Big Tiz, but 60 minutes is 60 minutes. You have to play. How many games have we lost in the last second?
Oh,
Too many.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much the games we lost.
Exactly. We have to play the full 60. We have to learn from our mistakes early if they're made, and we have to correct them and learn from them. We can't be repetitious of the same stupid penalties, same mistakes. We have to change up the defense. We have to throw different looks at this guy. Palomalo's not there to do his little run around and dance to get people off their game like he did Peyton Manning. We have to confuse it. We have to help Taylor cover because we all know he can't cover anybody. He can't cover his shadow. But he's getting better. He's getting better. And we have to run the ball up the middle. We have to ground and pound. We have to play smash mouth football like Steelers know that we can do. We don't have the bus. We have Johnson back there who's equivalent to the bus.
Right.
But we have Dwyer, our third and fourth best running backs. Now, if we can do it with 3, 4, and 5 running back, and if we get Mendenhall back there and Redmond, we could be unstoppable. And another thing, we have to get Pope into play. Not to mention, we haven't talked about this guy all game, and I don't know why, because sometimes you slip through the cracks. Heath Miller, the go-to guy. This guy he should have an S on his chest.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
He don't want to jinx him, Big Tiz, but he hasn't dropped anything thrown at him. He runs, he blocks, and I tell you, another guy, before I forget, you're going to flip on this, Willie Colon. I have to say, this kid was awesome.
Yeah.
If you watch this guy block and stunt, you would think somebody else was in that jersey. No holding penalties, no false starts. Willie, brother, I love you, man. Keep up the great work. You can do it. Ben needs to be standing up to throw the ball and hand it off. And that's my take on that. Just play 60 minutes, boys, and you shouldn't have a problem.
Well, Big O, you know what? Let me give the fans a feel of what I think the score is going to be this Sunday. And actually, I'm looking at more like a 20-16 type game, or maybe even 24-13 type game, with the Steelers winning outright.
I say 27-17 Pittsburgh.
I love it.
Write it down.
Write
it down.
So there you have it, guys. You got another one in the books on Steeler Nation Live from Big Tiz.
Big O, www.steelernationlive.net. Check us out next week, the recorded version. Go to talkshoe.com, search Steeler Nation, and check us out.
So we'll be seeing you next week on Steeler Nation Live.
That's Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Daylight Saving Time. We love you. Olympia Tisdale, happy birthday, girl.
We're the name of the future.
Put that out there.
We're the name of the future. And we're the name of the future. Hey. Yeah. Shout out to Big Tiz, man. And Big O. It's still a nation, man. Yeah. Big Tiz. Big O. You know what it is, man. It's still a nation. Big O.